Pet Sematary is based on a novel by Stephen King and tells the story of a family who moves to a new town in, where else? Maine. In the woods behind their house, they discover a pet cemetery where once you bury something that has died, it will come back to life. But it doesn't come back quite the same, and the consequences can be horrifying. Never seen the original, never read the book, saw the trailer and thought it looked good. Now, I'm pretty sure this is quite a well-known story, and the trailer gives a lot away, but in case you know nothing about Pet Sematary, there will be spoilers ahead. I won't talk about how it ends or how it all ends up for the characters, but I will be discussing most of the major plot points, so you've been warned. This seemed like a simple story to me, and maybe not a very interesting one. I mean, the setup is great, but once that's done, aren't you just left with a scary kid horror movie? It didn't really sound very original. If you saw The Hole in the Ground that came out earlier this year, then you know that there are a lot of similarities between that and what I just described. Not to say that that's a bad film, it's actually quite good and I would recommend that, and also check out my review for it. But I was wrong. The daughter dies and is brought back to life pretty much as we're moving into the third act, and there's lots of build up before that and plenty of story. It's quite a slow moving film. It's only an hour and 40 minutes, but it feels like it's 2 hours and 10, but not in a bad way. We get plenty of time to get to know the characters, and it takes its time setting up all its themes of grief and loss and death and confronting death and fear of death and belief in the soul and the afterlife. The tone of the whole thing is perfect, and the cast is also perfect. Jason Clarke plays the father, and my love for this actor has not waned. If you want to hear me rambling on about how much I love this guy, check out my review for The Aftermath. But in this role, he feels very real. It's very understated, and when his daughter is killed, his grief is controlled and realistic. And you buy that he would try to bring his daughter back to life and fool himself into thinking that she was going to be the same as she was before, because by that stage he has completely lost it. But again, it's understated. Seriously, this actor can do no wrong in my eyes. I also had an instant crush on Clarke's wife, played by Amy Seametz. I just thought she was really hot, and she's great in the film. She has a really unpleasant backstory, which leads to some of the most disturbing scenes in the film, and because of those, you really understand why she has such a hard time dealing with death, and some of the best scenes are where she's just trying to avoid talking about it. She's just like, no, I don't know, just keep it away from me, it's not happening, I'm not dealing with that. Again, it's just very realistic. The two leads are so well written and acted that when things go wrong and the daughter gets killed, you buy that he would want to bring her back and that she just wouldn't be able to accept it. There are some great scenes early on where they have these discussions about their conflicting beliefs about the existence of the afterlife, and also how they're going to break the news to the daughter that the family cat has been killed. It's all very relatable stuff, and it's good character building. The daughter is a great child actor. She's one of the best I've seen in a film like this, and I am very unforgiving for children giving bad performances in movies. She's very nice and very curious, so when she does stupid things like wandering off into the woods or just walking into a stranger's house and snooping around, you don't really mind too much because she's still very young and she's likable. And then when she dies and comes back, she's amazing at that too. It's a different character. There isn't any doubt about it. It isn't like, oh, well, she died and come back and there's something a bit... No, there's no subtlety. She is just bad as soon as she comes back to life. And the actress nails that part too, because you just hate her. I hated her. The things she says and does, I just wanted Jason Clarke to kill this thing and bury it somewhere where it won't come back. John Lithgow is good as the neighbour who takes a liking to the daughter and befriends the family and then introduces the father to the pet cemetery after the family's cat has been killed. People always tell me that they find John Lithgow creepy because they can't see past him as the Trinity Killer from Dexter. But for me, he'll always be Dick Solomon from Third Rock from the Sun, so he's just always instantly sympathetic. I have almost no issues with this film. I enjoyed it thoroughly. I just have some thoughts, things that kind of bothered me but didn't really ruin my viewing experience. There's a very weird reference to the Netflix show The Crown. The family's cat is called Church after Winston Churchill, and whenever the daughter's explaining this to John Lithgow and kind of saying, you know, who Churchill is, Lithgow has this big moment where he's like, oh no, I know who that gentleman is, referencing his Emmy Award winning role as Winston Churchill in The Crown. It was just really weird. There's also a reference to the town of Derry from It, which I thought was a nice wee reference. There are a few dream sequences that can be done poorly, but here they're okay because it's always clear that it is a dream and it's not like a fake out where a character's experienced something scary and then they just suddenly wake up, which I really don't like. But I still thought that the dreams could have been scarier. And there's this kind of weird spirit guide character who keeps appearing to the different members of the family. And he didn't really work for me because he wasn't really given an introduction. He just sort of shows up in the film and then he's there and he seems to be important, but it never really pays off. There are other sorts of visions and dreams and odd occurrences that happen throughout the film other than the cat and the daughter coming back from the dead, but it would have been better if those things had happened after the first time they used the pet cemetery. In this, they seem to just start happening pretty much as soon as the family show up at the new house, and I thought it would have made more sense if these things had just been yet another consequence of fooling around with mysterious powers that would have been better left well alone. It's also a bit weird that we never really see anything of the town that the family lives in. It doesn't detract from the story, it's just strange considering it's kind of indicated that maybe the town all know that the pet cemetery exists and what it does. I also love that they don't give a full explanation about what the pet cemetery is. There's a scene where Clark and Lithgow are looking through some books, but nothing's ever really defined. It's not important. All we need to know is that it's really old and no one really knows why it does what it does. And that's it. Their jump scares weren't cheap, so I liked them, and even though I knew most of what was going to happen and the order in which it happened, I still felt tension, so all credit to the directors Kevin Kolsch and Dennis Widmeyer, who do not seem to have a Wikipedia page. I also love the foreshadowing of the car accidents and the near misses that permeate the film, and for a pretty well known and simple story, it didn't feel like it was just going through the motions and hitting all the plot points that it needed to hit. It actually felt like there was some passion behind it. It's not a gore fest, but it is really unpleasant, but in a good way. The sound effects are very effective, especially when people are stabbed. It just sounds so visceral and it really gets you in your gut. Just the things that happen in this film are so awful. Like when the daughter comes back to life, she still has, like that makeup that they put on the faces of corpses in funeral homes, and her eye is all out of place, and there's like stitches holding her head together, and her hair's falling out, and she's all pale and veiny. She's like basically a walking corpse. And it's really awful because she's so young and we spent so much time getting to know her while she was alive. Maybe I'm just sick, but I found the ending to be tragic and very dark, but also kind of nice. I mean, I really liked these characters and I didn't want to see them die or have to go without each other, so I can keep that nice feeling as long as I don't think about it too much. I'm going to give Pet Sematary an A because I really liked it, and I actually found it to be a very nice horror palate cleanser after seeing Us, because it's a lot clearer with its messages and there aren't nearly as many crammed into the runtime. I think I just don't really get scared at horror films anymore, so I need story and ideas and good performances, and this film gave me that and a few what ifs and unsettling concepts and visuals, and it made me think about how I would react in certain hypothetical situations of life and death. I'm loving this resurgence of Stephen King. Films based on his books haven't had the best track record in the past, but with it, and now this, and Gerald's Game in 1922 on Netflix, and Dr. Sleep coming out soon, it's a very exciting time to be a Stephen King fan, which I am. Thank you very much for watching my review. Please like and subscribe, it really helps the channel grow, and follow me on Twitter at LukeToTheMovies. Please comment down below and let me know if you've seen Pet Sematary, what you thought of it, if you liked it or disliked it, if you agree or disagree with any of the points I made, or if you have any points of your own. And also, let me know what Stephen King story would you like to see made into a film next. I'll be back soon with more reviews, and I will see you then.